Tonight, after receiving 1,300 RSVPs, 5 times the number his town halls usually draw, the California Congressman Khanna had to move his town hall that was scheduled for today to tomorrow in order to find a venue that could accommodate a crowd of that size. Joining us now is the Democratic Congressman Khanna of California. He's a member of the House Oversight and Armed Services Committee. Congressman, great to see you again. Thank you for being with us tonight.
Thank you, Ali. And I'm so proud of what Senator Sanders is doing. I mean, he's really meeting the moment because he believes in mobilization. And I think that has inspired some of the crowds now that we're seeing in my district and the 3 red districts I'll be visiting in California.
Right. You're doing this as a bit of a program. You're going into some of these red districts. But we heard from Congresswoman Kelly Morrison last night. 2,000 people showing up, Keith Ellison and a few attorneys general in Minneapolis, 1,300 people showing up. I mean, these numbers are not typical for largely anything that happens outside of an election cycle.
They're not, but the folks in charge are so out of touch. I mean, you have the Commerce Secretary saying that he doesn't think people will notice if they don't get a Social Security check. I don't know if he's met seniors who are struggling to actually pay rent and rely on those Social Security checks. And then they're talking about $880 billion of cuts in Medicaid. Medicaid is the largest health insurance program in the world. 90 million people on Medicaid. And that's going to mean millions not just losing health care, but it's going to mean hospitals closing, particularly in rural communities, and folks who rely on those hospitals being out of luck.
I want to just lean into that for a second. This is Howard Lutnick, a billionaire in his own right, who, by the way, the other day may have violated the Hatch Act because he said on Fox News that what a time to buy Tesla stock. It's never going to be this cheap. Like, I'm a financial journalist. I've never in my life told my parents what stock to buy, let alone the public. Then he came out and he said, the only people that would complain if they missed their Social Security check are fraudsters. They're always the loud ones. This concept, Elon Musk said the same thing, and Social Security is a remarkable place to go looking for waste, fraud, and abuse. There are issues with Social Security and how we fund it for the future. This isn't actually one of them.
No, it's not. Look, this is Hooverism. There used to be a Treasury Secretary in the 1920s, Andrew Mellon, and folks should look at him. And he said, liquidate stocks, liquidate labor, liquidate farmers, liquidate government, because there are people who are incompetent, in Mellon's words, and we need enterprising people to take over. And that was basically Hoover and Andrew Mellon's philosophy in the 1920s. It led to the Great Depression. And now you've got the same type of people in charge. They're basically saying that the folks who get Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, are incompetent, somehow that they don't deserve these benefits, liquidate it all, dismantle government, and guess what? They're not just going to hurt working class people in this country. They're not just going to hurt ordinary Americans. They're hurting our economy. The growth of the economy is down since December. Inflation is up. The Fed chair is saying as politely as he can, these folks are ruining the economy. We've got a reincarnation of Hooverism. That's what we really have.
One of the things that Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez mentioned is that the Democratic Party, or people need a Democratic Party that fights harder. There are a number of Democrats who are going out there to these town halls, and they're getting pushed back, too, to say, we need you to fight harder. What does that look like to you? What does fight harder mean?
Well, I think it means one voting no and collaborating with Republicans. But look, I welcome when people come out, and sometimes they push back on even on me, and that's democracy. So the Democrats who are afraid of sort of move on or indivisible or our activist base are doing a huge disservice. And what Representative Ocasio-Cortez understands, what Senator Sanders understands, what progressives understand is ultimately to bring change in this country. It's not elected officials, it's movements, and they want us to stand up to Republicans, to vote no on collaboration, and to actually stand up for the Constitution.
Congressman, good to see you as always. Thank you for joining us. Congressman Khanna of California.